Hello my dear students, welcome back to your e-learning classes. So today I will be continuing with the previous lesson, that is from moments. I was already doing one story, The Kingdom of Fools, which was incomplete. I have just done the first half of the story. So today we will complete the other half of the story. So till now what happened? We have read that there was a kingdom which was ruled by fools, a foolish king and his foolish minister. They made foolish rules that night should be day and day should be night. Everything will be bought in a single to-do. So in that kingdom, a guru and his disciple arrives, and at first they were very surprised. They were fascinated with everything so new, so strange, so good. But slowly the guru realized that this is actually a kingdom of fools, and he decided that we need to leave. But the disciple, he was very fond of food, and he was getting everything in a single to-do. So he decided to stay. Now what happened on the other side of the story? Inside the king's court, one new case happened. That is one thief, while he was stealing and while he was running out from a merchant's home after stealing, the wall fell on him and it killed him. So the thief's brother came to the court, and the thief's brother accused the merchant that the merchant had actually killed his brother because why he would have such a weak wall built in his home and will kill anyone like that. So the merchant told that it is not my fault, it is the fault of the bricklayer who has actually built the wall. He has built the wall so weak that it fell. Now the bricklayer was called, and the bricklayer said, no, it is not my fault, it is the fault of the dancing girl, because the dancing girl had been going up and down the street that day so many times. It distracted him, and that is why he made a defective wall. Now the dancing girl was called, and the dancing girl blamed the goldsmith. They are saying that the goldsmith has been delaying my delivery of the order every time, and I had to go up and down the street so many times. So it is the fault of that goldsmith. Now the goldsmith came, and the goldsmith said, no, actually I was in heavy pressure. I had to deliver another important order. It is from the merchant, and he was pressurizing me so much that I was not able to finish her order. So he blamed the merchant. Now who is the merchant? Now it is realized that the merchant was actually the father of the main merchant who was accused in the very first time in the court. So he was that father. So now that merchant is no more, that father of the merchant is no more. So what will happen? The king decided that as you have inherited, he told the young merchant, that as you have inherited all the properties, all the belongingness of your father, so you will inherit your father's sin, and for that you will be punished. So you have to take the punishment of them. So it was declared that the merchant will be punished, he will be executed. And the king ordered that one new stake has to be built. Now when the new stake was built, suddenly the king and the minister got this thought that this new stake which was made, it was very sturdy and it was very thick, and the merchant who will be executed, who was supposed to be executed over this stake, was very thin and lean. So that execution won't be proper. It will be that stake won't fit that merchant. So they had to think about it. So slowly the actual reason for that court trial, actual case, is getting shifted towards the stake. Now the execution on the stake is important. Now who will be executed on the stake becomes a question, because the stake is fat. What shall we do? He said, when suddenly it struck him that all they needed to do was to find a man fat enough to fit the stake. So they were thinking what can be done. Then finally they had that idea that the stake is wide enough, the stake is big enough, thick enough. So they need a fat man. They don't need a lean man, they need a fat man who will be fitted to the stake. The servants were immediately sent all over the town looking for a man who would fit the stake, and their eyes fell on the disciple who had fattened himself for months on bananas and rice and wheat and ghee. So servants were sent all over the kingdom to find a fat man, bring one fat man. And the king's men, they were searching all over. Finally they came in front of that disciple, and that disciple who had been eating and feeding himself with lots of ghee, rice, wheat, everything, and he has become so bulky, he has become so fat, he was looking like a street side bull. So he was caught by those king's men. What have I done? What have I done wrong? I am innocent. I am sannyasi. Means he started telling that I am innocent. I haven't done anything wrong. I am just a sannyasi person. Why you are taking me? Why you are arresting me? He cried. That may be true, but it's a royal decree that we should find a man fat enough to fit the stake. So the guards said that we don't know you are innocent or guilty, but this is our order. We have got the order that we need to find a fat man because that fat man has to be executed on the stake. It is the king's order, they said, and carried him to the palace of execution. He remembered his wise guru's words. This city is a city of fools. You don't know what they will do next. While he was waiting for death, he prayed to his guru and his heart, asking him, asking him to hear his cry wherever he was. So now the disciple is realizing what the guru told him. Okay, the guru warned him that this is the kingdom of fool. Here everyone is foolish. You won't know what they will do in the next moment. So that's what happened. He was living a very normal and happy life, eating his full, enjoying his food. Suddenly the king's men came without any reason and arresting him for execution on the stake. Suddenly his life is in danger. So now he is remembering his guru's word and he is repenting. Then he sat and he started calling out his guru from his heart. He was actually telecommunicating with his guru. So wherever his guru might be at that present moment, his guru will hear his voice, his inner voice. The guru saw everything in a vision. He had magic powers. He could see far and he could see the future as he could see the present and the past. So the guru had some power. The guru was a magical person. He has attained some divine power, and with his divine power he was able to see what is happening to his disciple, what happened to his disciple, and what is the coming future. He can see many things. He arrived at once to save his disciple who had got himself into such a scrap through love of food. So he already knew that his disciple will be in danger. So he has already arranged his journey. He has already arrived in that kingdom of fool to save his disciple, who, just like a fool, made himself into a big trouble. As soon as he arrived, he scolded the disciple and told him something in a whisper. So after arriving to the kingdom, after arriving there, after meeting with the disciple, he suddenly scolded him that I have told you so many times, but you didn't listen. Now you are suffering like this. Then he went to the king and addressed him. Now he wanted to save his disciple. That is why he just said one plan whispering into his ears, and then he went to the king and told to the king, "O wisest of king, who is greater, the guru or the disciple?" Suddenly he went in front of the king and said, "O king, you are so wise, you are so great. You tell me, who is greater, the disciple or the guru?" A question. "Of course the guru, no doubt about it. Why do you ask?" The king said, "Obviously the guru is greatest. Guru is the bigger one. Guru will be having the upper hand. Why you are asking? It's very obvious thing." "Then put me to the stake first. Put my disciple to death after me," said the guru, given a strange request. Applied a strange request. The guru said, if you think that the guru is greater, then you do one thing, you put me to the stake first, and after me you put my disciple. I must go to the stake first. When the disciple heard this, he understood and began to clamor, "Me first, you brought me here first, put me to death first, not him." So now the disciple understood what was his guru's plan. So the disciple cooperated with his guru's plan, and he started shouting that, "No king, you brought me here first, so you need to put me to the stake first, not my guru." The guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. The king was puzzled by this behavior. He asked the guru, "Why do you want to die? We chose him because we needed a fat man for the stake." So now they started acting. Guru and the disciple, they started acting, and they started acting into a fight. Okay, they were fighting with each other because who will be going to the stake first. Now the king got confused that what is going on in front of me. These both people are fighting to be killed first, and he is trying to explain the guru that why we brought your disciple here to put him in the stake, because we needed a fat man, and he was fat enough, so we will we thought that he will be good enough for the execution. You shouldn't ask me such question. Put me to death first, replied the Guru. The Guru ordered the king that you must not explain me something like that. I don't need your explanation. You listen to what I'm telling you, put me to death first. Why? There is some mystery here. As a wise man, you must make me understand. Now the king is getting doubt that why this Guru is trying to get killed, why he is trying to die first. Means getting killed is not a good thing. So why he is actually trying so hard to die first? There must be something, some mystery, and he wanted an answer. Now the Guru said, "Will you promise to put me to death if I tell you?" Asked the Guru. "I will tell you the answer, but first you promise me that once I have given you the answer, you will put me to death first." The king gave him the solemn words. The king said, "Okay, I'm giving you my word. I will keep your wish." The Guru took him aside out of the servant's earshot and whispered to him. So the Guru took him to the side, okay, so that others won't be able to hear, and whispered the thing to him. What he said: "Do you know why we want to die right now, the two of us? Do you really want to know the reason why we want to die right now? We have been all over the world, but we have never found a city like this or a king like you. So we have traveled many places in the world. We have been traveling many places. We have seen different places, but this is the only place which is so nice and so beautiful. Okay, it's a very unique place, and you too, means you as a king, you are such a great king. Okay, that stake is a stake of God of justice. So that stake that you have made, that is not an ordinary stake. That is a stake of the God of justice. It is the God's stake, something divine. It's new. It has never had a criminal on it. So it is a new stake. There is not a single criminal blood over that stake. So no criminal had been yet executed on that stake. So it's a pure stake. Whoever dies on it first will be reborn as a king of this country. So because it is a pure divine stake, whoever dies in the stake first, that person in his next life, he will be born as a king of this kingdom. In his next life, he will be a king of this kingdom, and whoever will die in the second, he will be the minister of this kingdom. And whoever goes next will be the future minister of this country. We are sick of our ascetic life. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves as king and minister for a while. So we are tired of being sannyasis. We are tired of this life. Now we think like, let's go for a change. Let's leave this life and let's go to a next life. That is life of a king, the life of luxury, and the life of a minister. Now keep your word, my lord, and put me to death. Me first, remember. So I have told you my reason. I have given you the answer. Now you have to keep your promise. You have promised me that you will put me to death first. So please fulfill your promise. The king was now thrown into deep thought. He didn't want to lose the kingdom to someone else in the next round of life. He needed time. So he ordered the execution postponed to the next day and talked in secret with his minister. So now the king was thoughtful. The king was not ready to give up his kingship even in the next life to someone else. So the king became so thoughtful that he needed some time. So instead of giving the execution order, he said the execution will happen next day, not today. So he postponed the event. And then he talked with his minister secretly. It is not right for us to give over the kingdom to others in the next life. Let's go on the stake ourselves and we will be reborn as king and minister again. So he told the minister that this is not good. We must not give away our rights, our right to be king and our right to be a minister to someone else even in the next life. We should be like forever and ever the king and minister of this kingdom. So what should we do? We should go to the stake first. We will not let them get this opportunity. This life we have already lived. In the next life also we should be the king and minister of this kingdom. So we should go to the stake. Holy men do not tell lies. So he is a holy man. That Guru is a holy man. He is definitely telling the truth. He will never lie. He said. And the minister agreed. And the minister also agreed whatever the king said, because both of them are fools. They don't have any logical mind to think about it. So he told the executioners, "We will send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to death first, then do the same to the second man. Those are my orders, don't make any mistake." So secretly he told the execution person who is supposed to do the execution, he ordered him that tonight you will execute both of them. Okay, you, without any delay, without any mistake, just take them and put them to stake. First the guru and then the disciple. There should not be any mistake. That was the order given by the king to the executioner. That night, the king and his minister went secretly to the prison, released the guru and the disciple, disguised themselves as the two, and as arranged beforehand with loyal servants, were taken to the stake and promptly executed. Now that night, what the king did, the king and his minister secretly came to the dungeon, to the jail where the guru and the disciple was kept, and they told them to run away. You go, I am letting you go. And both of them ran away, and in their place, the king and the minister disguised themselves as the guru and the disciple, and they were waiting for the executioner to come and take them and put them in the stake. And according to the king's plan, that happened. According to his order, the executioner came, and the executioner didn't see who he was taking. He was taking the king. Because the king was disguised as the guru, so he thought this is the guru. He took him, put him on the stake first, and then he took the disciple, means the minister, and put him in the stake second. So they were executed. Now what happened? When the bodies were taken down to be thrown to the crows and vultures, the people panicked. They saw before them the dead bodies of the king and the minister. The city was in confusion. So morning it was discovered. Okay. Not morning. When the bodies were taken down to be thrown to the crows and vultures, the people panicked. So the bodies were taken down from the stake, and it was discovered at that time that these were not the guru and the disciple, but their king and the minister. And everyone got confused, because now what will happen? They don't have a king, they don't have a minister. Who will rule them? All night they mourned and discussed the future of the kingdom. So they were all lamenting, they were all crying that what will happen to us? What will be the future of this kingdom? Some people suddenly thought of the guru and the disciple and caught up with them as they were preparing to leave town unnoticed. So some of them just got one idea. They caught the guru and the disciple, and they were actually trying to leave the kingdom secretly in a hiding way, but some people came and caught them. "We people need a king and a minister," said someone. Others agreed. They begged the guru and the disciple to be their king and their minister. It didn't take many arguments to persuade the disciple, but it took longer to persuade the guru. They finally agreed to rule the kingdom of the foolish king and the silly minister on the condition that they would change all the old laws. So the guru and his disciple were requested by all the people of that kingdom that you please become our king and our minister, because you people are wise. So you need to become our king and minister. They begged. So the disciple was easily convinced that yes, okay, no problem, I will become the minister. But the guru was, after all, a guru, so he took time before getting convinced. So he got convinced with one condition. He said that if I am going to become the king, then I will change all the rules and regulation what your former king has already made. So I will change everything. If you agree, then only I will become the king, or else I will not. From then on, night would again be night and day would again be day, and you could get nothing for a dutu. So from that time, everything became normal. So the night was converted as a night, means people were supposed to take rest, they were supposed to sleep at night, and the day is for working. And regarding the market and the economy, the new king, means the guru, he said that nothing will be given for a single dutu. The commodities, the things, the food, everything will be measured, and it will be given according to its quantity and quality. Okay. It became like any other places. So that foolish kingdom became a normal kingdom, became a wise kingdom under the kingship of the Guru, under the kingship of this wise Guru. So this is the end of the chapter, and that's all. So regarding the question answers, I will be uploading the inside questions, as I will be doing for all the chapters. I will be first uploading the inside questions, and I will make a class on the discussion of those answers. Okay, till then, bye, stay home and stay safe.